Democrat civil war intensifies as Obamaworld opposes Mamdani. Y'all know I've been doing tons and tons of video lately of this socialist, so-called socialist Democrat, who's really a communist Marxist, talking about Zohran Mamdani, who's running for mayor on the Democrat ticket, of course, for New York City. Now even ex-Obama officials are coming out saying like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't go down this Marxist route because America is not really behind Marxist socialists, wherever you want to call them. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to see what Obama and his officials has to say about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account. So follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Zero Hedge, and they report that the Democrat Party is grappling with internal divisions following Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani's upset victory in New York City's Democrat mayoral primary election this week. Mamdani, a 33-year-old New York State Assembly member, decisively defeated disgraced former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo with 56% to 44% in the final ranked choice voting result. That whole ranked choice stuff, I'm not even going to pretend to understand it. Why can't you just, the person you vote for who get the most votes, how come they can't just be the winners? But anyway, two prominent Obama-era officials, former Treasury Secretary Jack Lew and former Office of Management and Budget Director Peter Orszag, have publicly opposed Mamdani's candidacy, warning that his progressive economic policies could harm New York City. To that, I say, no duh. This is why everyone been warning New Yorkers about this. Even Chicago, the Chicago Tribune of all places of all people came out and said like, New York City, y'all might not want to follow our route. You might not want to put in a socialist into government, or you're going to end up like us in Chicago, like what Mayor Brandon Johnson is doing to our city. Y'all might want to take heed to that advice. But in a CNBC interview on Wednesday, Lew expressed deep concern about Mamdani's platform. Let's just get right to the clip here. Here we go.
Welcome back to Squawk on the Street. Zohran Mamdani has now officially clinched the Democratic nomination for New York City mayor. Mamdani describes himself as a democratic socialist, and his win has caused some anxiety on Wall Street and within the Democratic Party. In the latest episode of my podcast, the Master Investor podcast, I spoke with former Treasury Secretary Jack Lew, who of course served in the Obama administration, and I asked him whether socialism could work for America.
The policies that he's outlined are not policies that are good for New York. He's running for mayor of New York, and I worry deeply, having spent most of my life in New York, about a city that I call home. You know, I see a similarity between the kind of policy solutions to the left and the right, and that satisfy populist sentiment, don't always go through the filter of do they work? Right. I don't think they work. And I think that's a problem. One of the things I'll say about New York is that New York is not an entirely independent governing entity. Many of the policies have to be approved by the state, either legislature or governor. So it's a process where you have more centrist political voices that will still be very much in a position to determine whether or not different tax and spending policies can take effect. I think the Democratic Party is well served by building the center out, and that means appealing to the center left and the center right. I think going to either extreme in either party tends to polarize the country. So that's my own personal view, but I really can't speak to the party politics part of it.
Yeah, but there is you don't hear anything from the center of the Democrat Party. All you hear is the loud progressive left that destroyed the party. They are the reason why Kamala Harris lost, because they keep pushing these crazy agendas that's really not popular and really would destroy people. And they're trying, and everything that Mamdani has said in the past, they're trying to whitewash now. They're trying to change, like just like they did with Kamala Harris, but people are seeing right through that. Like now he's saying, well, I'm not saying defund the police totally. I'm just saying we need to rework it or whatever. But he said initially he wanted to defund the police, and now that there's a big uproar about that, he's trying to change what he said. We have it in writing. We have videos of him saying defund the police, and now he's trying to walk that back. But the internet is forever. This is what happened to Kamala Harris. She tried to walk back her super duper progressive leftist policies that she was for just a month prior to her running for president, and then she tried to backtrack on that. But they keep forgetting. They act like they don't know we have receipts of these things. We have the stuff you said and the things you wrote about. We have records of these things. So you can't really walk those things back.
And you can watch the full interview where we, of course, talk about the big, beautiful bill, the deficit, the debt, the dollar, his advice for investors and policymakers on leadership on the Master Investor podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And guys, I mean, you know Jack Lube.
Okay, I think that's it for that segment. But Orszag, now chairman and CEO of Lazard, shared similar apprehensions in a separate CNBC interview last week, describing Mamdani's victory as indicative of troubling trends within the Democratic Party. Just like I said, this is going to be the downfall because they refuse to correct it. They refuse to correct the overreaching control that the far leftists have over the party, and Americans in general do not like socialism. So this is not going to work. But he said, let me step back and just say that I am saddened to say that I think the Democratic Party is becoming increasingly anti-Semitic and anti-capitalism, Orszag said. And the thing about it is, turning towards socialism and turning away from moral principles through anti-Semitism never works. So there is a fundamental concern that I have, and I think many people have, about the direction of the Democratic Party along those two dimensions. This is why I keep saying, I hope he does win. I hope he becomes mayor of New York City, so we can put on display what socialism does, because it will ruin New York City, and we'll have a glaring example that socialism does not work, and they can stop saying, hey, let's try this. Socialism have never really been tried in real life before, when we all know that's a lie. But they try to say, like, if we just give it a chance and it'll work. We'll show true socialism, and that really will save us. But that's totally untrue. So I actually do want him to become mayor of New York City for that reason. And plus it'll be a lot more content for me to cover to point out how bad socialism really is, which for most people is pretty obvious. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.